Welcome, Gio.
Hi.
I think it's a joy to do this with you, primarily because we love the movie Kishkindha Kaandam. I think it was beautifully taken. It's directed by Dinjit Ayathan and written by Bahul Ramesh. And there was this YouTube analysis that I watched, and he was saying this is not a movie just to be watched; it's a movie to be read. And I thought that was a very good description of this movie. You know, it's almost like a reading of a movie, the way it's brought up, the way the scenes are interwoven together. And like you said, it required a second viewing to really understand the elements of it. And so it touched me particularly, and I know that it touched you too. I felt the music was also amazingly done. It's done by Mujib Majid. And I've been listening to the soundtrack all week. And just the way in which the titles of these soundtracks, Apupulai's theme, Mysterious Bliss, Sublime Kishkinda, Spiral Dream, Jigsaw in Place, Mind Palace, and the last one is called Endless Odyssey. So what comes out to me is they paid a lot of attention that the music enhances the narrative, and that's a huge piece about the movie. So let me start off by saying, what did you feel primarily when you watched the movie? What was going through your mind? What did you feel during the movie and after the movie?
I watched the movie when it was released in theatres. So I watched it at Forum, Kormangla, and after watching the movie, I think, no one wanted to get up. I think that's what really happened. So everyone was just sitting and looking at each other to process what happened on the screen.
Yeah.
So the first time I watched it, it was like that. So I understood it only after I came out of the theatre.
Right.
So it's on our way back home that we were thinking through, oh, this was what happened.
Right.
So it was only very later that when I read through the analysis and then I watched it once again that I understood it. Okay, it could be understood like this too. But at that time it was mostly, I froze. That's what.
In one sense, you could say that's the outcome of a great work of art, right? It is pushing the emotional, affective dimension before we can really analyze it. They've built a suspense for so long, and then there is a reveal, and so the payoff is really high.
That's there, but I think here specifically, there is no catharsis. So usually movies have there is some space where there is some resolution that characters have. There is some emotional resolution, or there's something which redeems them. But in this movie, there is no resolution to their lives. There is someone who, decides to join them. That's what happens. Instead of someone maybe acting as someone who resolves the conflicts. But here, I think things go on.
There is a resolution to the characters in some way, but it's not a type of catharsis that we normally expect in a movie. So it subverts our expectations of how a movie needs to end.
And then maybe that.
All right.
But anything specific in the music? Anything which you really like?
The final song, it's called Endless Odyssey. I felt like that was something that was beautiful. Obviously we're going to reveal spoilers in this, so if you haven't watched the movie, I think you should definitely watch it before you listen to it. But it's the final scene where the son is hugging the father, and there's music that's playing, and it's just so beautifully captures that emotion.
Freedom alle namakku ishtamulla reality il maatram jeevikkanulla freedom.
It's also an emotion that any son is able to relate with. I felt like that would be a song that resonated with me. Let's move to the title. It's a very interesting title. It's a very mysterious title. Kishkindha Kaandam. Obviously, it has something very much to do with the three monkeys. Three Japanese monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil. Speak no evil. Do you want to expand more on the title of it?
In one sense, we often think about Ramayana and what happens really in Kishkindha Kaandam. We start thinking about Sugriva, Bali, Hanuman. We think about that story, and then here it is a very different story. I think monkeys play a very important role in this story. So in one sense, Kishkindha was supposed to be the home of monkeys. So here we have monkeys, and we have monkeys in the minds of people. Like minds. Monkey mind. No. As I think in Buddhist philosophy, they talk about minds. Something which jump from. One thing to another.
And you feel like that concept is connected
Yeah,
in the movie?
I feel to a large extent. The movie ends with that line, no? Beware of a monkey with a gun in hand. And that monkey is inside your head. I think any time it could shoot.
Okay.
Beware that the monkey of your mind, if it gets a gun,
Okay.
it could destroy anything. It
Okay.
could devour you. It could destroy your family. It could destroy anything. I think in one sense,
Okay.
that's why the psychological element of that movie is so well written.
Okay.
Maybe an answer to that person who said the movie should be read and not maybe felt. And I think that's the reason. Yeah, specifically, I think in a cursory reading, what comes out is the tale of three monkeys. The see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, that sort of a narrative, and Aparna's and Ajay Chandran and Appu Pillai's character, in one sense, resonating with those ideas.
Okay.
So, and even the title of the movie itself was that, A Tale of Three Wise Monkeys.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a subtitle to
There's
the
a
movie.
title.
It was
Right.
A Tale
Right.
of Three Wise Monkeys. So I feel like, I think that's the reason why they titled it that.
All right.
Because I think the movie starts in a police station with this. People should return the revolver that they have because elections are declared, and then it moves to an election, to a marriage which happens at a registrar's office, and then we enter Kishkindha Kaandam.
Oh,
I think that's what happens. No, we enter into that mysterious world,
Yes.
that mansion, and the whole place surrounded by monkeys and forest,
Yes.
where the whole story happens. I think that's why it is Kishkindha Kaandam.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Let's get into the characters. I feel like there's a lot written about the characters, a lot of praise for their performances. Asif Ali, who plays Ajay Chandran, Vijay Raghavan's character, beautifully played. Appu Pillai played as Appu Pillai, and then Aparna Balamurli, who plays Aparna's character. I feel like these are the main three characters. It's almost like Aparna, when you watch the movie for the first time, you're watching it through the lens of Aparna. Aparna is this new character who's entering into an already existent world, a world of secrets, a world that is fully formed, and once in they're evolved in. And so Aparna enters, and so you as a viewer is entering in as Aparna to see the relational dynamics between Ajay Chandran and Appu Pillai. What is your take on the characters? How was the development of the characters?
Yeah, they're fascinating. Like, definitely the three main characters are fabulous. Even small characters, small as in terms of screen space, like people like Jagdish. His role. Or even the person who played the role as Ajay Chandran's elder brother. I think there are only very few sequences he has.
But in one sense, they also enhance the character and the dimensions of these three main characters.
And even I think Praveena, Asif Ali's, the character's first wife, is her brother. I think Prasod or something.
Who goes with him.
I think even those people. So when I watched it second time, I was thinking about him. Is it unfair to him what is happening? I was thinking about those people. Those sort of things. Friendships. Those sort of relationships. But specifically, definitely, the core of the movie revolves around these three characters. I think initially, the movie's working title was The Curious Case of Appu Pillai. So I saw in one of the interview of the writer talking about that. So definitely, Appu Pillai is like a core. His memory issues form the primary plot of the movie. If he's not having that issue, I'm not very sure whether the movie will be as exciting as it is today. And whatever happens in the movie, I think happens because of his issues and his sense of a pride. I think the movie they call it dignity, but I think it's some sense bordering on honor or pride, that I'm not willing to depend on someone else. I'm not willing to be vulnerable. I'm not willing to to give the
I mean,
control.
he is a very proud man.
Yeah, he's a very proud man.
You know, it's
Very proud man.
Yeah.
So I think that pride is crucial to the movie. So even till the end of the movie, he doesn't let go.
Yes.
So I think his character can't let go.
Correct.
I think that's what he can only pursue things. And I think he doesn't have that that capability emotionally to let go. He can't.
And his son understands that.
His son just not just understand, he accepts that.
He accepts it. He accepts it. He wants to hold that in place.
He doesn't want to change it, or he doesn't see anything problematic. Okay, this person is like this.
Like this.
Okay, let it be.
Let it be.
I think he's like that. But it's only when there is a third person coming from outside that you see, okay, there's something problematic about it.
See, given the fact that your field is, politics and moral philosophy, what do you think is, in terms of moral reasoning and moral philosophy here, what are some of the themes that emerge from this?
Oh, that's what are the themes? Lesson it's a moral dilemma. I think at the end of the movie, there's this dialogue like what holds them together. Aparna's it's like it's a narration of Aparna which comes at the end of the movie. What holds the family together, at least this family together, is not morality. It is in one sense concern for each other. I think there's a dialogue, no? I think at the last 2 minutes of the movie. So in one sense, it's more than there is a legal angle. Maybe you can think about that. But deep down, all the issues I think are about morality in this movie. To a large extent, it's a moral dilemma. It ends with a moral dilemma. So I feel like
which is what? What would you say? The main moral dilemma here.
I think the primary moral dilemma. I think I'll just read out a few dialogues at the end of the movie. So this is that scene that you had mentioned. When Asif Ali is hugging Vijay Raghavan. So after that, that's when the whole secrets are completely revealed. And he says,
ആർക്കും ഗുണമില്ലാത്ത സത്യങ്ങൾ നിനക്കത്തി തീരട്ടെ എനിക്കറിയാം.
So what it means is, truths that do no good for anyone, let them be reduced to ashes like this. And he is literally burning those truths which he found out. So in one sense, specifically, I feel like the core moral thought the movie or these characters believe in is that truth is not something categorically a good thing. It is something, it is something if it's not useful, if it's not for the good.
It's consequentialist.
It could be, you can play with it. I think that's the idea. So, I think, is truth a good in itself? I think that's a real question the movie is asking. After I came out, I was really thinking about that. Is truth a good in itself? Ideas that truth shall set you free. So here the idea is that truths might be a painful reminder. That's the idea. So many a time Asif Ali does not even ask questions to his father. Where did you bury Chachu? He's very clear that Chachu is no more. And he is very clear
that finding the answer to that truth does not help in any way. There is no good consequence that can come out of.
To a large extent, I think it's very consequentialist. The whole moral universe of the movie is very consequentialist. Everyone is thinking about consequences, not for themselves. Many a times it's very caring. It's for the others. What if I do this? What could be the consequences of this for someone else? When Vijay Raghavan, Appupilay's character, finds out the truth. He's almost in a loop that he finds out the truth, he buries it, then he starts again. At that moment, what you mentioned, when he figures out the truth, he has two reasons why he doesn't want to pursue it. This is what he says. I really don't know what really happened that night. Was it a failure from your part, Asif Ali's part, or his wife, Ravina's part? Even if it is an accident, you will be charged of murder. And primarily, she doesn't have the strength to endure another tragedy because she's already going through a mess. She has seen her son dying, in her own hands, and she's going through a lot of things in terms of her health. Second thing he says is, I can't go on living to see you as a culprit. These are his two major reasons. Those two reasons are not about himself, it's consequences for someone else.
Yeah.
I think that's what Aparna meant by concern.
Yeah.
I mean, care. I mean, can you violate truth for something bigger? Like, can love be a reason for you to play with truth?
Right.
Maybe even truth to yourself.
Right.
Apupule after a point is burying the truth what he found out. No. So in one sense, he is also lying to himself.
Yeah. When he finds out the truth, he burns it. It's not something, and then the loop starts.
Yeah. In today's lingo, it could be like he's gaslighting himself. So I think that's what.
I think like what struck me was exactly that ultimately you're holding these lies not because you want to save yourself and you want to save the other. So that's a inherently good thing, the desire to protect family, the desire to keep them safe. Even Ajay Chandran, the son, knows that if this comes out and it's the father's gun, it is Appu Pillai's gun, he will be questioned, he will be imprisoned for this type of negligence. And the father is doing this not knowing what really happened, but he knows that if this comes out, both the son and his wife will be imprisoned or there will be bad consequences for it. So the reason why they are lying or continuing to live in the world of lies is not for themselves. It is the desire to protect the ones that they truly love. And families are in one sense built on those secrets, But I guess that is where the dilemma lies. It is Saint Augustine who says that sin is not necessarily bad things. You just define it as bad things, lying, stealing. Sin, he says, is taking a good thing. It's a good desire. The desire to protect, the desire to hold people that you love and protect them is a good thing. And then warp it and then turn it around. And so how a good thing here is the desire to protect is distorted through a world of lies. And we see that it ripples outside also. There's consequences for many people outside of this relationship. This lie is weaving an endless cycle of hurt, manipulation, distortion for those around. And I felt like that is a huge thing that comes out.
Like when you were saying, I was reminded of another series, Chernobyl. Have you watched it?
Yeah, Chernobyl.
It's a spectacular series. I mean, in one sense, deep down, the whole series happens because of lies.
Right.
I remember,
and it's a whole nation. It's the Soviet Union.
And what happens there? So there's a quotation I'm reading. There's a line that someone says in the movie. When the truth offends, we lie and lie until we can no longer remember it is there. Every lie we tell incurs a debt to the truth. Sooner or later, that debt is paid. And what are the cost of lies?
Yes.
I think that's like a deeper question. I mean, what you are saying. So,
this desire to protect is real, but what are the ultimate consequences of keeping this lie?
In Soviet Union, it was primarily, I think, fear to a large extent, which prevented people from telling truth to higher ups because they are in power, and naturally there are consequences like that. But here the consequences are very different. It is primarily, your son will go to prison, or your daughter-in-law might go through a lot of things. So there is a lot in terms of family honor. He's also a very independent, proud man, and what happens to his honor? He's not even willing to let his kid inside his room. So, someone like that having to go through that sort of humiliation. And he has a past. He has been a Naxal, and I think deep down, I think there's this thing also about his past. He has been part of this Nilambur. I think they burned some government office. So to some extent, it is very clear that he's not someone who's valuing. I think he's not valuing the usual procedural justice. For him, the ends justify the means. I think is very clear. I think maybe to a large extent why he was an Naxalite at that point of time was also that. He clearly, for him, ends justify the
Even
means.
comes out in the days of his army days also, like
Yeah.
how he's hiding truth,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
he's not letting
Yeah,
that out.
yeah. Even in the army, he constantly preserves
Constantly,
that.
correct.
And although he's terminated from army, no one in his family knows
knows
that he
about
was
Exactly.
terminated. They
Exactly.
thought like he just resigned or something. Yeah, retired.
So I think like an overarching theme that we see emerging from this is the holding together of truth and love. You know, both are one of the most fundamental aspects of reality. Yet, when one is prized over the other, there is a major warping. There's a major distortion here. So, in this one, obviously, love is prized way higher than truth. All right. So, you have Apu Pillai and Ajay Chandran willing to go to whatever lengths to hide the truth because of their love for each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very interesting that in the end, the one person he tells the truth to is Aparna. Only when he realizes, and I think this is something you pointed out to me, only when he realizes that she actually cares, that she cares for Chachu, you know, only when he finds out that this lady really cares, I mean, his wife cares for Chachu, cares for the family, is he willing to reveal the truth, this truth that he's held for so long, you know, the burden of lies he unleashes on her, because you finally come to a point where, okay, this person loves, hence I can reveal that truth. And I feel like that is a very important theme that kind of emerges from this. It doesn't resolve it. In one sense, what is coming out in the movie is they're still in a loop of lies that is there, you know. But it is what the movie reveals is the consequences of that. It's the consequences of living in a world of lie where you are continuously in that loop, moving, circular. So,
I don't know. It's like when you think about truth and love, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, we should also try to define love here. I think to a large extent, I mean, love as it is defined in the East mostly is through affection and care. Maybe to a large extent, I mean, if you look at Western cinema, they often define love as freedom. So it's very distinct.
It's distinct.
I mean,
How do we?
I think we should also have that clarity as to what do I mean by love here? So here it is love. I think because we are here in this context. I'm not very sure whether.
Yeah, but a love in one sense here universally has this idea of caring. You know, protecting. You know, that is an idea that is there.
But even Khalil Gibran all tells your children are not your children. I mean, ideas that love is letting go. I mean, there are those ideas also. Like love is not. I mean, you're getting what I'm saying. I mean, I know. Like, I mean, especially in an Asian context, which we are in, this is how we look at it. So, I think.
Any prescriptive takeaways? How would you what would be your, not just describing this thing, but what would be some prescriptive takeaways that you personally felt from this?
Prescriptive takeaways. See, if I look at the movie's ending, it's not really that they are not making a moral choice. They are still making a moral choice, and they are making a moral choice in favor of consequentialism. They are judging the morality of their action based on the consequences of what happens, not based on something categorical. So what are the consequences? So think about Chachu. I mean, is there? I mean, doesn't he deserve certain things? Maybe a decent burial, or maybe something more. I think just because the family is okay doesn't mean I mean, it's convenient for the family. Is it something to be pushed aside? Or even characters like Praveena's brother. I mean, he's still going with Asif Ali and Aparna to all these places. They are just using him. I mean, let's suppose the moment they get to know, you tell a lie, you keep on telling it. So
to a point where I feel like they also believe it. You know, I feel like Ajay Chandran, they're also just living in that cycle of lie. You lie so much, and then you become a character in this illusory world that you have.
The same movie Chernobyl, there's this line like, "What is the cost of lies? It is not that we'll mistake that for the truth. The real danger is that if we hear enough lies, then we no longer recognize the truth at all." So I think that is the danger. I think it's dissonance. I mean, it's disintegration with yourself primarily. I think like to a large extent, like I mean, you are lying to yourself. I mean, you're constantly doing that, and there is a lot of psychological cost to it. The guilt, the shame. You're primarily fearing what people could do to you because people don't forget things that easily, no. So there is that small scene earlier. You will get to understand the kind of community which is there. So the Jagadish's character, who is an ex-Naxalite, still now people somehow blame him for the shoot. I mean, for those monkeys board and all, and where this thing is happening. So people are not willing to forget. He's not doing that anymore. So they are afraid of that to some extent. Like once that stigma is on you, it won't go away. I think to a large extent it is that fear, and I mean, like that dignity, that honor. I mean, even if I am forgiven, will I be forgotten? Will my sins be forgotten? Will my even accidents of whatever happened, will it be forgotten? So that's why I think that question which you talked earlier matters a lot. Like he's not telling the truth to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not for a voyeuristic, it's not for curious people who want to know and judge them.
Yeah. So truth without love is brutality. I think it's gossip.
Yeah.
It's voyeurism. And the, I mean, and love without truth is hypocrisy.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, both are there. I think the movie takes the stand of truth without love. Yeah, understood. But
the movie takes a stand of love without truth.
Yeah, love without truth.
Yeah.
To a large extent, everyone is acting, and the movie ends with those lines. So we have to play our part. Play our part means you are acting. You're not authentic. So the price you pay for the cost of it is your authenticity. You are not able to be honest to yourself. Even if you can be honest to yourself, how much can you be honest? I mean, his brother doesn't know. Like, I mean, Asif Ali's brother doesn't know what happened. He's having that call with him who's somewhere outside of India. I mean, in every sense, he's constantly reminded of it more than being forgotten. I know he doesn't want this to happen, but what really happens is, I think deep down, this is what happens. I think.
I mean, it is, and I can't even say like this is the overarching theme that is there, but this is a huge theme that does come out in the movie, and it's just amazing, like the way they've taken it, the way they've weaved it together.
I remember, I don't know whether I have it with me. I remember, me and Pratibha, like before marriage, we were reading this book by Tim Keller and Kathy Keller called Meaning of Marriage. So that book had a fabulous portion which could resonate with this movie. This is what they write. Love without truth is sentimentality. It supports and affirms us, but keeps us in denial about our flaws. Truth without love is harshness or maybe brutality. It gives us information. Everyone wants to know. And after watching the movie also, what we want is information. Where is Chachu's body? Whether it's under the mango tree. What we want.
Even a lot of the comments in the video analysis I read is, where is Chachu's body? Somehow that descriptive nature of the truth is...
That's because we don't love. We don't love them, no? We don't love them. We don't love them the way they love each other. So that is harshness. It gives us information. So truth as information, but in such a way that we cannot really hear it. I mean, the one who really needs to hear the truth to some extent is Appu Pillai. He needs to accept that, yes, I am having a problem. I need to be vulnerable. I need to do this. So all the people, I mean, they can't hear it if you tell it that harsh manner. The late Tim Keller, who was a Presbyterian pastor, I mean, he continues to write, God's saving love in Christ, however, is marked by both radical truthfulness about who we are and yet also radical unconditional love to us. The merciful commitment strengthens us to see the truth about ourselves and repent, The conviction and repentance moves us to cling to and rest in God's mercy and grace. So I feel like, truths, lies could bind us together because we are co-suffering in something. Anyone who is suffering together, that thing could bind us, but it could also bound us. There is no freedom there. So maybe there are times we have to ask the truth. Seek, knock. I think these are things we ought to do if we have to pursue something. We have to do these things. We have to go out for the truth. But maybe we have to constantly re-examine what is our intentions. Why are we doing what we are doing? Why do we want to know the truth? I think that's a good way to end it.